Good Tuesday evening, May 27th, and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. Memorial Day saw a small rash of brush fires throughout the Wenatchee Valley. We'll tell you more about that coming up. The city of Wenatchee is officially urging voters to say yes to its proposed sales and use tax for transportation improvements. Get ready for even warmer temperatures tomorrow with 90-degree readings expected across much of north central Washington. I'll have your full local weather forecast coming up. The Wenatchee man whose burglary spree early this year, including a downtown sushi restaurant, has pleaded guilty to those break-ins. 32-year-old Hyun Bin Yu admitted in Chelan County Court last week to unlawfully entering Iwa Sushi on Wenatchee Avenue back in January, looking to steal money, alcohol, and electronics. Police say about $900 worth of cash and goods were taken. He also pleaded guilty to counts of second-degree burglary for stealing items during the same period from the Wenatchee Target store in Glam Beauty and Glam Beauty in East Wenatchee. Yu's plea agreement also allowed him to avoid similar charges in Douglas County, where he faced 4 felony counts for alleged thefts from businesses in the Wenatchee Valley Mall. Judge Robert Jordan sentenced Yu on Wednesday to 90 days in jail and a year's probation and barred him from approaching any of the businesses he burglarized. Memorial Day saw a small rash of brush fires throughout the Wenatchee Valley. The Second Creek fire was reported just before noon Monday near Second Creek Road in the Chumstick Valley north of Leavenworth. That fire was estimated at about 20 acres as of today, but local fire districts as well as federal crews were able to encircle and stop its growth. It's currently being managed by the U.S. Forest Service and the Washington Department of Natural Resources. Outside Bridgeport, the Rock Butte fire grew to 15 acres starting at about 2 p.m., but at 2 was quickly controlled. Westbound Highway 28 south of East Wenatchee was briefly closed about 5 p.m. when a roadside brush fire broke out near milepost 5 at Hearst Landing Road. No one was injured and no properties lost in any of those fire incidents. A single vehicle rollover crash on Highway 243 early this morning killed a Mattawa man and injured his passenger. The Washington State Patrol says that at approximately 3:47 a.m., a 1999 Honda Civic was traveling southbound when it drifted off the roadway. The driver, 52-year-old Sergio L. Corrales of Mattawa, overcorrected, causing the vehicle to roll until it came to rest upside down in the northbound lane. Neither Sergio nor his passenger, 53-year-old Sonia G. Corrales of Mattawa, were wearing seatbelts and were both ejected from the vehicle. Sergio died at the scene of the crash, and Sonia was transported to Cadlick Regional Medical Center in Richland for her injuries. A 13th District lawmaker who worked on Governor Bob Ferguson's transition team is now taking aim at his budget choices. State Representative Tom Dent released a statement Friday in the wake of Ferguson's approval of Washington's new $77 billion tax and fiscal program. Republicans say Washington families could pay as much as $2,000 more each year on new business and sales taxes, while Democrats predict a roughly $900 increase. Dent argued for less spending while helping with Ferguson's move to the governor's office. On Friday, he said, quote, "This budget continues to lead Washington State down a path of unsustainability, and I am genuinely disappointed the governor did not cut back spending or limit the tax revenue bills." When we come back, a public tour through the local sections of the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest is happening this Thursday, and all are invited to attend. And the library may be a welcoming space for all, but one unexpected guest was removed from the premises last week. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Merry Maids can clean your entire home, business, or vacation rental from top to bottom, inside and out. Merry Maids will even take care of cleaning your carpets, and they can pressure wash your home. Merry Maids has thousands of happy customers. They've been cleaning homes and businesses in our valley for over 25 years. Check out their glowing reviews at merrymaidesofwenatchee.com and call the cleaning experts, Merry Maids, to get your free estimate. Your satisfaction is guaranteed, so relax. It's done.
The city of Wenatchee is officially urging voters to say yes to its proposed sales and use tax for transportation improvements. The question on the August 5th ballot would create a 0.2% tax that would last no more than 10 years starting January 1st. The revenues would go towards street upgrades identified in the city's transportation improvement program. The City Council on Thursday unanimously passed a resolution calling for voter support.
I take raising these taxes pretty seriously. I do not like it. But what I like less than paying a little bit more in my sales tax is our roads falling apart and our cars being damaged and our sidewalks not working. So this is a hard decision for me, but I think this is the most equitable and financially smallest financial burden on our citizens with the greatest improvement.
It's not something that we like to do, but this puts us in the hands of the voters and allows them to make that decision. And I hope that they will vote yes on this, just simply because it's just our streets are a mess and we need to take care of them. And they're only going to get worse over time if we don't start doing the preservation now.
A public tour through local sections of the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest is happening this Thursday, and all are invited to attend. The tour is a collaboration between the U.S. Forest Service, Cascadia Conservation District, Chelan County, Lake Wenatchee Fire and Rescue, and the North Central Washington Forest Health Collaborative. Attendees will learn about current logging operations, recreation, firewood harvest opportunities, and fuel breaks near communities. The tour will begin at the Lake Wenatchee Rec Club at 4 p.m. and will be followed by a short presentation at 6:30 at the Squirrel Tree Restaurant. The presentation will touch on local forest health projects and will give time to chat with project leads and partners. Auto Mocha is opening its 6th location tomorrow in the parking lot of Coastal Farm and Ranch in East Wenatchee. The new locally owned drive-up coffee business announced the new location last Thursday. The shop will be open daily from 4:45 a.m. to 7 p.m. and serve the same variety of coffees, teas, energy drinks, and more as the other locations. A free drink giveaway will also be hosted on opening day to celebrate the new location with customers. The library may be a welcoming space for all, but one unexpected guest was removed from the premises last week. A rattlesnake made its way to the Wenatchee Public Library and, with the assistance of Animal Care and Control, was safely escorted away. The Wachi Valley Humane Society said Animal Care and Control consulted with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife and got the okay to relocate the snake. The snake was taken up to a remote canyon away from buildings and trails to avoid more human contact. North Central Washington Library said in a Facebook post that it's important to remember safety comes first when dealing with rattlesnakes, and anyone who wants to learn more about the snakes can read about them. Coming up next, the historic W.T. Clark Pipeline Bridge, the historic pedestrian route that crosses the Columbia River to unite Wenatchee with East Wenatchee, will be inaccessible for much of this summer. That's starting next week. We'll have more on that in tonight's feature story. Expect sunny and unseasonably warm temperatures tomorrow with cooler and windy weather on tap for Thursday. I'll have all the details coming up in your full local weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
It's the Click It RV Moses Lake Pre-Memorial Day Sales event with huge manufacturers discounts from Forest River, StarCraft, and more. Get zero down financing and no payment for 90 days. And get top dollar for your trade. And as our way of saying thank you, active military and veterans get a $500 parts and service card. And talk about giveaways. Win a StarCraft trailer or $30,000 in cash. And get a 65-inch TV with every purchase. Nobody beats a Click It RV deal. We guarantee it. Don't miss the Click It RV Moses Lake Pre-Memorial Day Sales event, May 18th through the 30th.
Caught in a conflict? Family? Workplace? Neighbor? Business? Housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
The historic W.T. Clark Pipeline Bridge, the historic pedestrian route that crosses the Columbia River to unite Wenatchee with East Wenatchee, will be inaccessible for much of this summer starting next week. The South End Bike and Pedestrian Access Project is a large construction effort to improve the routes that carry users onto the bridge from either side of the river. Once the bridge closes on June 1st, it will be about 17 months before it reopens. In Wenatchee, that will have effects on the popular Hale Park off-leash dog area. In tonight's feature story, Dave Erickson, director of Wenatchee's Parks Department, spoke about that with NCWLIFE's Stan Kuntz.
So there will be intermittent closures of the off-leash area. We don't know quite yet. We haven't heard from the engineers and the contractors what days or anything like that that will be. We will post it on our social media page, so Wenatchee Parks Rec and Cultural Services on Facebook, city website, things like that, when we know what the schedule is from the contractors and everybody involved. But it will involve a couple of closures. I've heard 1 6-week closure in July, so that's going to be a challenge. Another one, a couple-week closure coming up. And that's for the most part because there will be dump trucks and power line work and other kind of work happening along the trail. So we're going to try to keep it open as long and as much as possible.
The new approaches that are going to be putting in on both sides of the Clark pedestrian pipeline bridge is a big project, isn't it?
It's huge, yeah. So just even in the park itself. So they'll be adding new walkways to connect to the new ramp, ADA ramp, that's going to be going up to the bridge. So instead of the kind of that little tight corkscrew that you do to come down on this side, it'll be a straight ramp coming down that brings you almost all the way to the end of where the parking area is. So great for maybe bikers and walkers that are going back and forth east Wenatchee as far as access to the parking. Not so much maybe for the off-leash area folks coming from that side, either the South Wenatchee over the new on-ramp or from East Wenatchee, where they're going to have to come all the way down the ramp and then double back to get to the off-leash area. But some of the changes that'll be happening here.
Starting the first day of June, access to the W.T. Clark Pipeline Bridge ain't going to be happening because you won't be able to get to it, because the first thing you have to do is tear down the existing approaches on each side before you can build the new one. So the reason that they're going to be closing the pedestrian bridge for an extended period of time is you won't be able to get on anyway.
Correct. Yep. So they'll be taking down that on-ramp, and then the detours will be taking effect at that point. So it's going to be a challenge for a little bit of time, but hopefully a nice thing when it's all done.
Time now to take a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you all had a great Memorial Day weekend, and boy, was it ever nice, especially on Saturday with those temperatures in the mid-80s. A little bit of wind came up. Also yesterday, some wind came up, but all in all, a pretty nice Memorial Day weekend. A beautiful start to our short work week this week as we had some few high wispy clouds out there, and that's about it. Temperatures did warm up nicely today as we look down at the Wenatchee Valley. And here we go with your forecast as we make our way through this short week. For Wednesday, it is going to be possibly record-setting tomorrow. We're going to see high temperatures mid-80s to mid-90s. That means an elevated heat risk for some of you that are sensitive to heat. We're going to be that hot for Wednesday under sunny skies. A quick moving cold front will move through on Thursday. That could kick off some showers and thunderstorms, but wind will be our big weather maker for Thursday. And we're going to cool down into the 70s Thursday before we jump right back up into the upper 70s to mid-80s under sunshine as we get you into Friday. So kind of a roller coaster ride as we make our way through this week. But boy, nice one today. 81 degrees our unofficial high temperature. 74 is where we should be for this time of year. Beautiful day back in 2005 with a higher temperature record of 89 degrees. Started off the day this morning at 55. That's 3 degrees above where we should be at 52. Our record low, 39 degrees, and that was set in 1971. Sun came up this morning at 5:11, and it sets for us tonight at 8:45. Getting you in now to those hot Wednesday temperatures. Look at some of these readings. Low 90s, Moses Lake, Ephrata, and Quincy. Wenatchee, I think we'll see 90 as well as Eniat and Chelan. Low 90s for Omak as well. 89, the high temperature tomorrow in Kashmir. We are all going to be touching some record highs tomorrow. We'll let you know how that works out when we get together tomorrow afternoon. Lots of high pressure around the western United States. That's making for some clear skies for Washington. Low temperatures, boy, on the mild side tonight with readings right around 60. And here we go for Wednesday, a very strong southerly flow of air into Washington. We're going to warm up to around 90 degrees for the highs tomorrow, and that goes for almost all of us in our viewing area. For Thursday, mostly sunny skies. Once again, high pressure in control, but lots of wind with low pressure just over into Montana. We'll be a little cooler on Thursday as well as our airflow switches back to the northwest. We're going to drop about 10 degrees. Thursday's highs around 80, which are still above where we should be. And then for Friday, just a beautiful end to our work week. Sunny and warmer. High temperatures in the mid-80s with high pressure again all over the western United States. As we get into the upcoming weekend then, Saturday we'll see sunny skies, maybe a little bit breezy, especially in the afternoon on Saturday, but boy, it's going to be warmer once again as that roller coaster ride continues. We're talking about 90 degrees by Saturday afternoon. For Sunday, breezy conditions once again as yet another area of high pressure begins to push in. We will be just a little bit cooler on Sunday though, with high temperatures into those upper 70s, and that cool down will kind of continue as we get into Monday as well. Partly cloudy skies, lots of activity from an area of low pressure to our east, and we could even see some shower activity Monday afternoon with high temperatures back finally to where they should be into those mid-70s. All right, your 7-day forecast, beautiful overnight tonight, 59 degrees, 90 and sunshine tomorrow. Cool down about 10 degrees as we get you into Thursday with mostly sunny skies, and then our temperatures will climb back up once again as we get to Friday and Saturday, all the way to 90 degrees again on Saturday, maybe a little bit breezy, windy conditions possible as well for Sunday as we cool down a bunch for Sunday, 78 degrees, and then partly cloudy with maybe some showers as we get you into Monday with a high temperature then of 76 degrees. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
The pitch by Busich. Swung on a miss. Wenatchee Apple Sox baseball is back on the NCWLIFE channel. Watch as they take on the Yakima Valley Pippins Friday, May 30th. Coverage brought to you by our Platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Abby's Pizza, Apple Valley Honda, Biosports Physical Therapy, Coldwell Banker Cascade Real Estate, Global Car Care, Harvest Valley Pest Control, and Highlander Golf Course and Grill. Your exclusive television home for Apple Sox baseball is the NCWLIFE channel. What once was old now is new to the NCWLIFE channel. Tune in for Bonanza, Superman, The Andy Griffith Show, The Beverly Hillbillies, The Invisible Man, The Lone Ranger, and The Lucy Show. Check your program guide for classic programming on NCWLIFE channel, your local TV station. Well, it feels like Monday, it's Tuesday, it's, something like that. Thanks to Dan for filling in for me last Friday while my daughter was having our first grandbaby, Arthur. Welcome, Arthur. He is here and he is special. All right, despite being walked off by Houston Sunday, the Mariners finished their 10-game road trip 6-4. Began with a sweep of San Diego after taking 2 of 3 from the White Sox. Seattle was hoping for at least a split with Houston. Astros won the opener 9-2, but the Mariners came back for a Game 2 win 5-3. Houston edged Seattle Saturday 2-1, and Christian Walker hit a 2-run home run at the bottom of the ninth to give the Astros that walk-off series win. Seattle returns home tonight at T-Mobile Park for interleague play against the Washington Nationals. Logan Evans will take his 2-1 record up against the Nationals' Mitchell Parker, who is 4-3. Game is set to start at 6:40, and that will be on Root Sports Northwest. Well, the Seattle lead in the American League West stands at a 1.5 over the Astros heading into tonight. Texas is 4.5 back after a 2-1 loss to Toronto. Angels are also 4.5 back after a 5-1 loss to the Yankees. The Wenatchee Bighorns finished the regular season of the TBL with a couple of losses at Great Falls over the weekend. Wenatchee had already secured second place in the Pacific Northwest standings with Great Falls firmly in first, so the games really didn't mean that much. Electric won Friday 124-109 and then Saturday 148-107. Now the Bighorns will host Seattle tonight at Wenatchee Valley College in a play-in game. Grant Olson will have the call on NCWLIFE channel beginning with the pregame at 6:45. A win tonight would put Wenatchee into a best-of-3 playoffs against Great Falls for the Pacific Northwest Division Championship. That, by the way, would begin tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. The Wenatchee Panthers boys soccer team has advanced to the Final Four of the WIAA State 4A tournament. Wenatchee knocked off #1 seed and previously undefeated Tahoma Saturday 2-1. Chase Williams followed his hat trick against Olympia by scoring the Panthers' first goal in the 5th minute Saturday. Chani Vega then followed with a goal in the 35th minute to put Wenatchee up 2-0 until late in the game. Tahoma finally got on the board in a corner kick and stoppage play with the game ending 2-1 final. Favor of the Panthers, by the way. Cascade was knocked out of the State 1A 2B tournament with a 1-0 loss to Raymond South Bend on Friday. Now Wenatchee heads for Sparks Stadium in Puyallup Friday to take on Hazen in the Final Four at 7 p.m. Chiawana faces Woodinville in the other semifinal before that at 4:30. Losers of Friday's games will play for 3rd or 4th Saturday at 12:15. The winners will face off for the state championship at 6:30. Well, Moses Lake was put out of the State 4A baseball tournament Saturday with a first-round loss to Puyallup by a score of 5-0. Cashmere won its first game over Linden Christian in the State 1A tournament 11-1, but were shut out by La Center 3-0 to be eliminated from the tournament. Chelan fell to Bellevue Christian in its first-round game 10-0 to have their season come to an end. In the State 2B tournament, Okanagan was one and done, falling to Asotin 10-0. Liberty Bell won its first game against Napavine 14-4, but then fell to Freeman 5-4 to be put out. Well, things didn't go as hoped for Moses Lake or Eastmont at the State 4A softball tournaments in Richland Friday. Mavericks fell to Issaquah 12-1 and then to Tahoma 4-3 to have their season come to an end. Eastmont narrowly lost to North Creek 4-2 and then then in a heartbreaker to Skyline 5-4 to also have their season come to a close. After falling 12-4 to Olympic in the first game of the state 2A softball tournament in Selah Friday, Ephrata bounced back with a 13-10 win over Kingston to advance to day 2. Tigers downed Archbishop Murphy 12-4 before falling one round shy of earning a trophy to Woodland by a final of 6-0. The North Central Washington contingency at the state 2B softball tournament in Yakima were both eliminated on the first day. Tanasket fell to Raymond South Bend 14-4 before bowing to Liberty 15-0. Lake Roosevelt dropped its first game to Freeman 11-1 before being ousted by Cle Elum Roslyn by a final of 4-1. Well, the summer collegiate baseball season begins Friday for the Wenatchee Apple Sox, and NCWLIFE channel will be there. The defending West Coast League North Division champions will host Yakima Valley Pippins in the first of a 3-game weekend series. I'll be along Brandon Schmitten with the play-by-play with a call with our pregame at 6:30, first pitch at 6:35 at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. That's Check of Sports News. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a happy Tuesday.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more news from around North Central Washington, you can find us at ncwlife.com, on our social media channels, or on our mobile app for iPhone and Android. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. Email us at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us, and have a great night.
The pitch by Busich. Swung on a miss. The Wenatchee Apple Sox are back on the NCWLIFE channel. Watch as they take on the Yakima Valley Pippins Friday, May 30th. Coverage is brought to you in part by Kennedy Real Estate Group, Les Schwab, Sangster Motors, Save Mart, Tacos Chava, Together for Youth, and Valley Tractor. Your exclusive television home for Apple Sox baseball, NCWLIFE channel, your local TV station.